All right, we are back, and we're only a couple days away from UFC Edmonton. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi, which means it's time for me to break down every single fight on this card and give you my prediction for each and every fight. Starting with the first fight of the night, going all the way up to the main event. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first fight of the night, Jack Shore versus Youseff Zalal. And honestly, guys, I don't want to hear it about Jack Shore this week. Let's keep it down. Let's talk about it how it is. You know, Youseff Zalal has been on a tear recently, 7-fight win streak. Jack Shore, he's a breakable little skinny sissy Brit. You know, come on. Are we really going to talk about Jack Shore like he's a upcoming prospect or something from Britain? He's nobody. He's pretty terrible. He lost to Joe Anderson Brito by like leg kicks pretty much, and he lost to Ricky Simone round 2 submission, albeit they're not terrible losses to have. But Youseff Zalal's on a tear, and he's submitting people in the first round. I'm going to take Youseff Zalal, round 1 submission, not overthink this one. We're not talking about Jack Shore like he's anything, guys. I don't want to hear it about him. We're going Youseff Zalal, round 1 sub. Next fight up the card, we've got Jamie Lynn Horth versus Ivana Petrovich. I think I got her name right. So Jamie Lynn Horth lost her last fight, split decision to Veronica Hardy, which that's not a terrible loss. Now, I remember that being a little close. You know, Veronica Hardy's fights are usually a little close, but Ivana Petrovich, she won her last fight, but, you know, she lost a decision to Luana Carolina, and Jamie Lynn Horth, she's no pushover. She's not anything to write home about, but, like, she's no pushover, guys, and she outlands Ivana Petrovich on paper by around 2 strikes per minute, 4-2 per minute. So I think Jamie Lynn Horth is going to get a bounce back here. Come on, if you're losing a decision to Luana Carolina, call it quits. Why are you even fighting anymore? She sucks. She's terrible. Luana Carolina is a piece of trash. So losing to her, you gotta be worse than that. And Jamie Lynn Horth, I'm telling you, she would not lose to Luana Carolina, not in a million years. So we're gonna go with Jamie Lynn Horth by decision. Will be the official pick. Next fight up the card, we got Chad Anheliger versus Cody Gibson. So Chad Anheliger won his last fight against Sharalampo's Gregorio by decision, which it was, I think Gregorio was the favorite going into that fight. But I think that was more of a narrative shift. Gregorio's not good. He lost both of his UFC fights after Contender Series and got cut. I don't think that's a good win. Cody Gibson in his last fight beat Brian Kelleher by a round 1 submission. Lost to Miles Johns by decision in the fight before that. I think Cody Gibson's going to want it more. He also has a 6-inch height advantage here and a 7-inch reach advantage here. So that's going to be a massive thing. I think Cody Gibson is going to outgrapple Chad Anheliger, ragdoll him around, get a round 2 submission win. Will be the official pick here. Cody Gibson, round 2 sub. Next fight up the card, we've got Sidey versus Garrett Armfield. Sidey, Garrett Armfield. Sidey lost a close split decision to Ramon Taveras in his UFC debut back at 297. Split decision over a guy he knocked out in the previous fight. It was a really close fight. I personally thought Sidey should have won the fight. If I'm being completely honest, I did think he won that fight. Garrett Armfield, he's a cardio kickboxer that hits hard. He packs a punch behind those fists. He's going to be hipping and hawing, keeping up in the numbers. You know, this guy throws around 6 strikes a minute, or lands 6 strikes per minute, around that. So he's going to be throwing a lot. Maybe that's an issue for Sergey. He did get into a firefight with Ramon Taveras, which is what ended up costing him. Think he might have lost on the numbers, maybe on some of the striking numbers, maybe. I'm not too sure, but it was a really close fight with Ramon Taveras. Maybe Garrett Armfield is able to get the upset here, but I think Sidey's going to want it a bit more. Maybe he mixes up some takedowns, which we didn't actually see in that Ramon Taveras fight. He's been training in the UFC all year now, so I'm hoping for some good improvement from his last performance. It left some stuff to be desired. Garrett Armfield, I'm not going to be picking him after what happened with Brady Heidstand. I changed my mind. I was originally picking Brady Heidstand in that fight, and I got talked out of it and fucking changed my mind on it. And then Brady Heidstand, masterclass pretty much. I should have never changed my pick for that one. And I think Sergey City's going to be more crisp on the feet. I think he's going to keep up with Garrett Armfield, and he's going to get a decision win here. Will be my official pick. Moving on to the next fight of the card, we got Alexander Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento. So this is actually a tougher fight to predict because both these guys lost their last fight. Romanov lost to Jailton Almeida by submission in his last fight in the first round. Nascimento lost to Derek Lewis in the fourth round by knockout after out-grappling Derek Lewis pretty much the whole time, but he gassed out in that fourth round. I think we're going to go with Nascimento. Both these guys aren't very good. They're both tubelards that are going to be just trying to stall the fight with their rolling around, grappling that's not very good. But Nascimento was able to keep down a physically imposing Derek Lewis for a good portion of that fight. And Alexander Romanov, I just don't think his grappling really is that good. The cheat code's been out there to beat him, like Volkov. A lot of these guys have been able to do it. Volkov is good, but Nascimento, I think he is a bit better than these low-ranked, tubby, fat, really heavyweights. Nascimento isn't great by any means, but I think he's got a little bit more to him than Alexander Romanov. I guess we'll see. This is a really tough pick, I'm being completely honest, but I think I'm going to go with a Rodrigo Nascimento decision. With his grappling, 75% takedown defense. I think it will be able to stop Romanov, and I think he'll be able to get. He doesn't shoot that many takedowns around, but when he does, he will get it down usually. So I think he'll get a takedown off and stall this fight and get the decision win. I also think he'll be a bit better on the feet. So we're gonna go with the Nascimento decision win. Next fight up the card. Charles Jourdain versus Victor Henry is actually an interesting fight. Charles Jourdain has lost 3 of his last 5 fights, it would be. He lost to Gene Silva by knockout in his last fight. It was a short notice, I believe. And he lost to Sean Woodson before that. The guys Charles Jourdain are beating really aren't amazing. He beat Kron Gracie by a decision. Couldn't even finish Kron Gracie. And he beat Ricardo Ramos. He did finish Ricardo Ramos, but Ramos really isn't incredible. Victor Henry, I like the guy. He is pretty good usually. He beat Ronnie Yahya in his last fight by a knockout. He had a draw or a no contest against Basharat. Basharat was kneeing him in the nuts pretty much the whole time, and it got stopped. It was pretty bad when the ref told him he didn't get kneed in the nuts, but it happened twice, and Henry's rolling around on the ground, writhing in pain. What the fuck are you doing telling him he didn't get kneed in the nuts? He got kneed in the nuts pretty clearly. He even showed he was at the hospital and he hit, it was fucking swelled up or some shit. He said it was swelled up to the size of, a grapefruit or some shit. He didn't get kneed in the nuts, though. This is a tough one. I don't want to pick Charles Jourdain, guys. I really don't. So maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't think Charles Jourdain really is that good. I think he's one of these guys that kind of got hyped up a bit because he had that highlight of him. I think it was against Kron Gracie where he got that fucking Spartan kick, but he didn't even get a finish, guys. That's the thing that gets forgotten there. He didn't even get a finish. Sure, he looked good in that fight. It's Kron Gracie. You're supposed to look good against him. He is a figment of your imagination. He's a relic of the past. The guy is butt scooching across the fucking... So, I think I'm going to have to go with Victor Henry here. I think he's better on the feet. I think he's the better fighter. He's... Jourdain has lost to a lot of people. He's lost to a lot of people that he probably shouldn't have. If you look back in his record, it's not a pretty one. 11 losses. Victor Henry, he is 37, but he's still at a good physique. He's still active. He's still putting up a good fight. And Charles Jourdain, been there, done that. We're going to go with a Victor Henry decision win, guys. I think he's just better than Charles Jourdain. Again, this is a fade Canada card, I'm telling you. I've learned my lesson, guys. I've learned my lesson. We know which Canadians to go with. And speaking of, we got Ariane Lipski versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. It's Jasudavicius fight week, guys. Come on. Let's get hype. Let's get hype. Jasmine Jasudavicius putting up a show here. We're obviously taking her to beat Ariane Lipski. Ariane Lipski lost her last fight to Karine Silva. Jasmine Jasudavicius has been on a tear. She won her last fight by decision. Her last loss was to Tracy Cortez. Before that, Natalie Silva. Two people that would have their way with Ariane Lipski if we're being real. Natalie Silva's on a tear right now, near title contention. Tracy Cortez just lost what was pretty much a title eliminator, if I'm wrong, pretty close to a title eliminator. So I think Jasmine Jasudavicius is getting this one done. She's going to outstrike Ariane Lipski. That will be tough, though. Ariane Lipski is a girl that loves to throw a lot of strikes. She lambs around for a minute. But, like, she's been knocked out in the past. I don't think she's going to try to have a firefight with Jasmine Jasudavicius. And if anyone's mixing up their grappling successfully, I'm going to go with Jasmine Jasudavicius, who I've seen has been training hard in the gym. I really think Jasmine Jasudavicius is good, and I think she's going to take home a dominant decision victory, 29-28 or 30-27. That's the official pick. Jasudavicius by decision. Let's go. Next fight up the card, we got Aimann Zahabi versus Pedro Munhoz. I mean, Zahabi, he fraud-checked Javid Basharat in his last fight. Really close fight, though. Won a split decision. He's 36 compared to Pedro Munhoz, who's 38. He's won 4 of his last 5 fights. Pedro Munhoz lost 3 of his last 5 fights. One of those was also a no contest to Sean O'Malley, so it should have been he lost 4 of his last 5 fights. Really, if that fight wasn't a no contest, that's what we were approaching. I think Pedro Munhoz has passed it. And if I'm looking at the betting lines, apparently on Topology, it's showing Pedro Munhoz as a minus 125. If I can get plus money on Zahabi, guys, when he's been on a tear recently, just beat Javid Basharat. I don't care what you say. You might think Basharat's not good because of that. But I think that might speak a bit about how good Zahabi is. I think he's not terrible. And Pedro Munhoz has looked like a pushover recently. Kyler Phillips absolutely destroyed him, and we saw what happened in Kyler Phillips' last fight. So, like, how do we weigh that win? Does that put... That probably lowers Pedro Munhoz' stock, right? If I'm thinking about this correctly, if Kyler Phillips gets his ass kicked in his next fight after kicking Pedro Munhoz's ass, that makes Pedro Munhoz more ass, right? If we're thinking about it like that, right? That I'm not crazy, right? Right? So yeah, I'm gonna go with Aimann Zahabi by decision. That will be the official pick. Great breakdown of that one. Really technical stuff here. But I think Zahabi's going to be more crisp. He was able to keep up with Basharat. Basharat is like kind of a stall or marauder against the fence and all that, and Zahabi was able to cancel that out. What's Pedro Munhoz going to do? He's at a reach disadvantage here by 3.5 inches. I think Zahabi's going to get it done on the feet. Not bad wording. He's not getting a finish. We're going to take Zahabi by decision. He's going to be better on the feet than Pedro Munhoz. He'll be able to mix up some grappling if he wants to. And I think Munhoz is past his prime, you know. He's just over the hill. Maybe thinking about taking the gloves off after this one, Munhoz. Let's talk about it. We'll message. We'll text back and forth. Hit me up, buddy. But Zahabi by decision will be the official pick. Moving on to the main card, some fun ones. Mike Mallot versus Trevin Giles. Man, I'm excited for this one. Mike Mallot, his last fight. He was pitching a shutout against Neil Magny. And then the 9th inning came along, and the backup pitcher got put in. Bases were loaded. Grand slam to lose the game in the 9th inning pretty much to Neil Magny. Round 3 TKO because the dude forgot how to breathe. Neil Magny got on top of him and started just... How do you lose to pillow hands Neil Magny by grounded fucking pound TKO? Tell me. Mallot, you broke my heart that night, but Trevin Giles, you will beat by a guillotine choke, and we will have to hear about how you're a title contender again. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait for the posts on Sunday morning. Oh, Canada's got his best prospect again. Oh, nice highlight submission over Trevin Giles. Oh, Canada's got a future champion. I am so ready for this shit. Mike Mallot will beat Trevin Giles, guys. And he will still be nothing. He will still be absolutely nothing to me. This fight will not raise his stock at all because Trevin Giles is a piece of trash that will get picked up and put into a trash bin by Mike Mallot. Round 1 submission win for Mike Mallot will be the official pick. Moving up the card, Marc-Andre Barriault versus Dustin Stoltzfus. So Marc-Andre Barriault in his last fight, he lost to Joe Pyfer by a round 1 knockout. Before that, he also lost to Chris Curtis back in January at 297. Stoltzfus, in his last fight, he got knocked out in the first round by Bruno Ferreira. It was a really scrappy first round, but he got a spinning back elbow to knock him out. Bruno loves to throw that. He was throwing it against Abbas as well. Dustin's other knockout loss was against Abus Magomedov, round 1 knockout, up front kick to the face in the first 15 seconds. Marc-Andre Barriault hits hard, and coming off on 2 straight losses, a knockout loss in his last fight, I think he's going to put the pressure on Stoltzfus after he's seen, I guess both of them got knocked out in their last fight in the first round, so we'll see how this one goes. I'm actually changing my pick here. I'm going to go with a decision instead of a knockout. I was going to pick Marc-Andre Barriault to knock out Stoltzfus, but they both got knocked out in their last fight. I think Marc-Andre is going to play this a bit safer because Stoltzfus is a strong puncher. Like, he really did crack Bruno a couple times in that first round as well. Like, they were cracking each other. It was a scary first round for Bruno, but Stoltzfus did get knocked out in the end. I think Marc-Andre Barriault is going to play this a bit safer. Take home a decision win. We've got Cal Machado versus Brenson Ribeiro. It is absolutely insane that either one of these people are still in the UFC. This is news to me. I didn't even see these guys on the card, if I'm being completely honest. Machado lost his last 2 fights since Dana White Contender Series. He lost unanimously to Mick Parkin. Not terrible. Then he lost unanimously to Don'Tale Mayes. All right, snip him off. Get rid of him. We don't need him around. Brenson Ribeiro, he lost his first fight in the UFC by knockout. Pretty bad loss. And then he lost to Magomed Gadzhiesulov by majority decision. Get rid of him. We don't need these guys. This is why are we weeding these? Get rid of both of them. Why are we weeding one of them out? We don't need either one of them. Machado will land 3 more strikes a minute than Brenson Ribeiro, stats-wise, so that's something here, but he's just a tub of lard with no finishing potential. Even in Dana White Contender Series, he couldn't fucking finish a fight. Somehow got a contract for it. Somehow got a contract when he didn't even finish the fight on Contender Series and loses unanimously twice in a row since then. But Brenson Ribeiro is a guy where if you breathe on his chin, he's going to be out cold for a couple minutes. And I don't know, guys. This is a weird one. But Machado is going to outland Brenson Ribeiro and take home a decision win. Machado is built with fluffer nutter in his veins. I don't see him knocking out Brenson Ribeiro, especially after Gadzhiesulov didn't knock out Brenson Ribeiro. Maybe I'm overplaying how bad Brenson Ribeiro's chin is, especially after Gadzhiesulov couldn't get him out. But he did also go to decision on Contender Series, so connections. Machado by decision will be the official pick. Next one up the card, we got Derek Lewis versus Jonathan Denise. I'm scared for Derek Lewis, guys. I'm very scared for him. Guys, he's been knocked out 7 times. Jonathan Denise has 8 wins, and they're all by knockout. He's nearly lost by knockout the same amount of times Denise has won fights by knockout, guys. He's 39 years old, guys. Jonathan Denise, I get he only has beat Carl Williams and like 2 other pretty not great heavyweights in the UFC, but like, I'm scared, guys. I think Jonathan Denise finishes this one, if I'm being completely honest with you. Derek Lewis has been made to look like a fool in the past. You know, Tai Tuivasa, who we've learned is nothing. He made Derek Lewis look pretty bad that fight and made him quit with an elbow against the fence that didn't look even all that powerful. I think Jonathan Denise, he will come out swinging here. The UFC has put him in a spot to get a highlight reel knockout, and I think Jonathan Denise will get it under the pressure. This could be a sinker. This is a sink or swim moment. You know, Derek Lewis is not going to coil up into a ball and quit, even though he did against Tai Tuivasa. He's looked good recently. He knocked out Rodrigo Nascimento in his last fight. But there's a pattern. There is a pattern with Derek Lewis. Go and look, guys. His last 5 or 6 fights, he wins and loses, wins and loses, wins and loses. And he won his last fight. So tell me what happens next after he wins. He loses, guys. And 7 of his fucking losses are by knockout. That's nearly the same amount of times Denise has won fights by knockout. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go with Denise by knockout. And I'm more scared for Derek Lewis getting knocked out an 8th time than I was for Max Holloway getting knocked out the first time. Denise by knockout will be the official pick. Round 1. Lock it in. On to the co-main event of the evening. We got Erin Blanchfield versus Rose Namajunas. Erin Blanchfield in her last fight got checked by Manon Fiorot. I called it perfectly, guys. Manon Fiorot by decision was one of the easiest picks, if I'm being completely honest. She had like 94% takedown defense, and Erin Blanchfield is a chump on the feet. Will Rose Namajunas defend the takedowns? When she was getting taken down by Amanda Ribas, that's a tough call. But Rose did stop the takedowns of Tracy in her last fight and was able to piece her up on the feet. But Tracy, I don't know if she's as good as Erin Blanchfield on the feet, but Erin Blanchfield isn't great on the feet anyways. She got pieced up pretty good by Manon Fiorot. I'm going to go with Rose Namajunas, guys. I'm going to go with Rose Namajunas here. At the underdog price, she's got good takedown defense, 60%. It's not as good as Manon Fiorot's. That's the concerning thing. She did get taken down by Tracy. Maybe Blanchfield will be able to bank a round or 2 with her grappling here. But in a 5-rounder, she definitely faded last fight. That was only a couple months ago. That was like June, I want to say. Maybe May. It was one of those. It was like early summer, though. And Namajunas, she's still looking fine. She's 32. She's not like old or anything. And she's looking fine, you know. She beat a good prospector in the last fight. Tracy Cortez had not lost in a long time. If ever, I think she might have lost once before in like the regionals or something. But she was on a tear. She hadn't lost in a while. She knocked Tracy's eyebrow off. Erin Blanchfield, I don't think a few months is enough to really turn around the holes that were shown in her last fight. She really has trouble making the fight hers if she can't get a takedown. That's going to be a big thing here. If she cannot get a takedown, the fight's not going her way. She's going to crumple on the feet. Rose is definitely better on the feet, even at a slight reach disadvantage of 3 inches. I think Rose is still going to be much better on the feet. We're going to go with a Rose 48-47 decision, or 48-47 decision will be the official pick. Rose Namajunas, really close decision. She might lose 2 rounds and then win the later rounds or something, but I think Blanchfield will win a round at least with grappling. But Rose is not going to lose the fight based on grappling. She's going to be able to stop the takedowns later in the fight, keep it on the feet, piece up Blanchfield to a decision win will be the official pick. Moving up to the main event of the evening, Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Brandon Moreno is not winning this fight. Guys, what are we doing having 2 people that aren't even Canadian headline UFC Edmonton? What is more fitting, though? If we're being completely honest, it kind of makes sense for a Canadian card to get headlined by 2 people that don't even live in Canada. If you know, you know. So Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Brandon Moreno lost his last fight to Brandon Royval. It was an upset. No one really expected it, but he got pieced up and lost a decision. And Amir Albazi, no one really expected him to win his last fight either, because he didn't. He should have lost that one to Kai Kara France, but the judges, alhamdulillah, they had it in his favor, and he somehow got that decision, even though it for sure should have gone to Kai Kara France very easily. No, like, there really is actually no way Brandon Moreno loses this fight, guys. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Amir Albazi got his ass kicked in his last fight by Kai Kara France. He should have lost all 5 rounds. He got outstruck in every single round. There was one round where it was close, but he still got outstruck by 5 strikes. Brandon Moreno, there's not a chance in hell he loses to Amir Albazi. He lands more by quite a bit than Amir Albazi. He has 60% takedown defense. Amir Albazi, I don't think he's going to get Moreno down, and if he does, Moreno will scramble back up to his feet. This is a point in Moreno's career where he's coming off of 2 back-to-back losses against tough contenders, and people are going to start to forget who Brandon Moreno is, and I'm not falling for it. I nearly did. I'm not going to fall for it. Amir Albazi sucks, is a piece of work. He does not deserve to be anywhere close to the belt. Brandon Moreno will check this guy. He will move him back down the rankings where he belonged because he did not beat Kai Kara-France. A lot of people, the grappling's okay. He got 1 takedown in the entire fight. Give him 1 round then. 4-1 Kai Kara-France, 49-46 at least. At least a 49-46 Kai Kara-France scorecard. But somehow he won a split decision. It absolutely did not make sense how he won that fight. And Brandon Moreno, he's got good takedown defense, great scrambler on the ground, much better on the feet than Amir Albazi, better on the feet than Kai Kara-France because he finished the guy in the third round, by body shots. Brandon Moreno still got it. He's not that old. He's only 30 years old. Amir Albazi is actually older than Brandon Moreno. Amir Albazi's not good. He's not good. He's not good, guys. Brandon Moreno gets this done by decision, most likely. He will outstrike Amir Albazi every single round. Maybe get taken down once or twice. This is a repeat of Kai Kara-France, guys, but instead, we are getting the right decision this time. I'm telling you, Brandon Moreno, dominant 49-46 decision win is the official pick. Let me know what you guys thought. This, again, turned into quite a long breakdown, going to be around 28 minutes, so let me know what you guys think. These are all my picks. Timestamps will be available in the description and the comments. We'll be back here for more soon, maybe a main event breakdown of its own to get some more views in there. Let's see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Like this video, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll be back here soon. Bye.